What's going on? Captain Q with Mangrove Expeditions, and I got the old skiff here. Been running this thing for the past 4 or 5 months. Previously I had a Hells Bay Waterman 18, and I decided we're just gonna talk about it a little bit today, do a quick walkthrough and go over some of the pros and cons of this thing and get into detail about it. There's not a lot of videos on Chittum skiffs online. This is a 2023 Chittum Challenger 18, Challenger number 1. Now they have the 2.0 out, a little bit different, a little wider, full-size spray rails, patches and all that. But this is the bare bones tiller, just the way I like it. Ultralight, made for going skinnier than just about any other 18-foot skiff out there. So let's get right into it. For those of you that have followed me for a little bit, you know I mainly fish Chuckaluski and Flamingo. I like to spend my time down in the glades, obviously, but I think this thing is an unbelievable shallow water sight fishing weapon. One skiff is never going to be perfect at everything. You know, it's not a fast boat, it's not a big water boat, but for what I do in Chuckaluski, especially in the wintertime, being able to hole in 4 inches with 2 big guys on here is pretty insane. It's a 100% carbon boat. The hull weighs 380 pounds. Motor's 154, I believe. So with all the platforms and a full tank of fuel, we're probably realistically 700 to 800 pound range. But that's pretty insane for an 18-foot boat, man. I'm telling you, you could pick this thing up off the trailer and just slide it. Like if I unhooked it from the bow right now, I could literally slide it off. So it's kind of cool. When you need a wax behind your bunks and all that, I just slide it off, wax there, pull it back up. Pretty sweet having a boat that is that light. So just to give you kind of a scale of what a person looks like in here, I'm 6 foot tall, 80-inch beam, so it's a really wide boat. Big gunnels on it, very comfortable to walk around. This boat has a lot of displacement, 2 degrees, so it's very stable. And that displacement and low weight is basically what makes this boat go as shallow as it does. Tiller right here, I really like the tiller. No jack plate. Thinking about maybe getting a jack plate for some things that I'm not going to talk about, but definitely need to get a tiller extension for this thing. Got my Simrad GPS right here, which is easy. I can just kind of peer down at it. I like that it's kind of out of the way, you know. There's nothing here when I get down from the poling platform or you need to walk around, you just walk right up. There's no console to step around. You're sitting pretty centered in the boat, so it doesn't lean a lot of the time, even when you're solo running the tiller. That's one thing I didn't like about the side consoles. When you're driving over here, the boat tends to lean a lot when you're going slow and you have to tab it out when you're running and all that. But as far as controls, you have an engine trim on the tiller here, you have a backup engine trim down here, and then I have my 2 tabs right here, so I can kind of just bump the tabs with my fingers as I'm running. And this is kind of where I'll hold myself to brace myself, you know, when I'm running as well. So it's pretty easy to control right here, and I'm loving the layout of it so far. Alright, so as you can see, this thing is bigger than people think it is. It's an 18-foot skiff, 80-inch beam, huge cockpit space. I believe it's 8 or 10 feet from here to the end of the cockpit back there, but you still have plenty of deck space. It's not as big as a lot of other skiffs out there, but to open up this much cockpit space on a tiller skiff like this is pretty sweet. I got the 12-volt trolling motor up there on the power pucks, which is the way to go if you're mounting a trolling motor these days. A little pricey, but it's worth every penny to not have a cord in the way or a connector that's going to go bad. Other than that, got my casting platform up there, my flyline spikes right here, Death Roll manufacturing spikes. They're pretty sweet. They go onto the rub rail and they seem to hold up good so far. I keep this thing under a cover, so a lot of spikes will get bent, but you can see they're a little bent when I take the cover off immediately, but they seem to come right back, especially you get them in the sun a little bit and they straighten out. What else? This thing is fully SeaDeck on the inside, on the side gunnels. No floor model, so no floor, no bulkheads, no hatches or anything. Got your trolling motor and fuel tank up here, and you can kind of tuck things you want to be dry up in there, and they stay pretty dry. even if it's raining. But your storage is pretty much up to your imagination. You know, if you want to run the Yeti Go boxes or just have tackle boxes in the back. I stuff my life jackets and everything under the back, but I'll show you a little more in detail of the cockpit here, so let's check that out. So I bought the boat like this with the little passenger seat here. It's hard mounted to the floor, it spins, so you know, you can put your feet up on the gunnel if you want to. You can just sit and face forward. You can turn around to kind of get your face out of the wind, but it's working out pretty well so far. I think eventually I might get rid of it, put a center grab bar there, put my GPS on the grab bar and my controls and all that. But it's pretty sweet so far. For 2 guys, it works out well. Mainly fly rod storage on this side. You can fit 4 going backwards there. And you can fit 4 on the other side, but the other side is set up a little bit different to where you can run spin or bait cast on there and then keep your fly on this side. I keep my cooler here. I keep a cooler here generally. A little bit easier of a step up to the front deck, and I like to keep the weight centered and a little bit more forward depending on the size of the person I have with me, of course. But trolling motor batteries up under there as well. Just a 12 volt, that's all you need for this thing. It pulls it great. It's such a light boat that it scoots with the little 12 volt. Regular old push pull holders. Yeah, what else can we talk about here? So on my previous boat, I never had a step up to the platform, and I cannot tell you how huge this has been. I mean, to be able to just walk up there no problem without having to jump or worry about climbing the sides. The cage just so happens to perfectly fit the Yeti 5-gallon bucket there. Use a Haas strap to just keep it there, and I keep my anchor in there if I'm going to be using some live bait. Sometimes I'll put a lid on that and run it as a little live well. Doesn't happen very often, but it is nice to have that option and have it out of the way to where you're not worried about just sitting it in the floor of the boat. So compared to a regular Chittum, these spray rails are cut down to 50%, and the freeboard is cut down as well, so they did everything they could to reduce the weight. The boat is obviously designed for backwaters. It's not a big water boat, so I think it would have benefited from keeping the full-size spray rails, but it is a little lighter than the Challenger 2.0, which is out now, and it doesn't have patches. So for an ultralight, very technical polling skiff, they're still fairly considerable. Like, whole hand fits in there. Definitely catches the water pretty well. One of the things that really drew me to this boat is the flat transom, and by that I mean just not having any sponsons. Rounded corners, it spins amazingly on the pole. This is one of the best polling boats I've pulled in my life, and I've pulled a lot of skiffs. It's almost hilarious how easy it is to pull. So light, tracks well, and it's just hard to believe. I mean, you gotta come out with me and check this thing out if you want to see how it does on the stick, man. So as far as design-wise, this boat has very rounded corners, so it's very quiet in that aspect. The transom is not just dead flat. It has a little bit of curve to it. So you can see your trim tabs are kind of pocketed in there a little bit so that they're straight. You know, it has flat stainless lane co tabs. No issues with those so far. Very simple. You know, you can do carbon fiber trim tabs on this boat, but they're a little bit longer. And for what I do, turning around in tight creeks and everything, I don't want to worry about banging them. So if you have an issue with one of these, probably a lot easier to place than a carbon one. Maybe I'll go to the carbon one day and be bougie, but we'll see. Alright, so that's about it for the old Challenger walkthrough. Not really sure what else I could say about this thing. It's pretty bare bones. Technical polling skiff, tiller, and it's pretty amazing what it can do though. For an 18-foot boat to go this shallow and pull this effortlessly is pretty wild. And I think the ergonomics of the boat and just the way it's laid out is so perfect for Chokoloskee fishing. And if you guys want to come check that out, I do trips in Chokoloskee and Flamingo. I'll have my Instagram in the description. It's CAPTQDESTOUT, Cap Q to Stout. And we'll go get out there. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.